What's up, guys? Peter from Panda here. Hey, you may have heard of these. They're called MagGuts, not maggots. Increased magazine capacity. The interesting thing about this company at MagGuts.com is they make new springs and inserts for firearm magazines that increase the capacity, but don't add an extension. So you can obviously add extensions and just make more space. But this one is for a Smith Wesson Bodyguard and 380 ACP. As you may or may not know, the magazines for it are 6-rounders, and this converts a 6-round OEM magazine to 7 rounds. And the way they do that is they're really space efficient with the followers and the plates and all of that. And so you get an extra round without having to kind of sacrifice anything. The question you may ask is, why don't they Smith & Wesson and other companies just make higher capacity mags with parts like these than make you go to the aftermarket for them? And the answer is I don't know. But my guess is that, you know, the way they make them with the metal and the followers and the plates that they use, maybe they're just a little more robust. Over time, they work better. You don't have to worry about it. And, you know, maybe matches and meets their or exceeds their torture test standards. And so you don't have to make any trade-offs in that way. But especially on these really small capacity magazines, it could make a big difference. So I'm going to actually install these. There's a warning here to not just do whatever is pictured here, because this is not necessarily the magazine you have. But on the inside of this card, on the Ziploc, they actually have the instructions for installing these. So we're going to go ahead and install this and just make sure it works and see how easy it is or difficult it is to put it in. All right, so I read the instructions and I think I know how everything is supposed to go in. This little tab here is going to follow the back on the magazine, so you can go ahead and kind of push this in. I think it's going to be easier just doing everything sitting on the table sideways so that nothing falls over. Then you put in this big spring. There are little tiny detents, as you can see here, on the side of this little box so that it kind of holds the spring in place. You want to make sure that this spring matches this illustration, and I think I've got that right. And then the other thing they've noted here is that this long flange versus short flange, the long flange goes towards the back. So you're going to have this spring push up the follower all the way to the top. And oh, good, we've got it poking out the top. And then you have this spring, and again, I've got this, I apparently have this oriented the right way. There is this little loop which is going to go facing the front, and that's going to kind of fit inside this little intermediate carriage box here, and you push that in. And then you've got this new base plate with this little plastic tab, and then the metal base plate is going to face in the back. So you're gonna put this, wedge it in here into the bottom of the spring, and then push all the guts up in there. Now you're gonna have some pretty decent spring pressure. You're gonna use your original base plate. And this is where I'm sure an extra hand would be helpful. So kind of push it down, got the base plate over it, and then the little screw on the bottom of their base plate is what's going to hold that in. This is what it looks like, as opposed to having this big plastic follower. And I think this is the key, is that you have kind of sheet metal so that you're taking away all this mandatory bulk and you're kind of pressing it down to just the little pieces of sheet metal. And you should be able to push the sucker when you get your rounds in there, push it all the way down, and now be able to get more than your 6 rounds. So we'll give that a try and just confirm. All right, so now for the real test. Obviously only 6 would fit before, so let's just give it a shot and see if we can load 7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, shoot. Just kidding. 7. So there you go. And just to prove it here, I'm going to take out this last round, show you the peepholes, and you can see that, you can still see that one in that 6th position. So it actually does hold 7 rounds, which is kind of amazing to me. So anyway, I'm pretty impressed with this. This MagGuts product seems like it works. Anyway, I'll be using them and trying it out. And hopefully everything's good to go. Peter from Panda with my MagGuts for the Smith Wesson Bodyguard. Out!